All right, good day and welcome to Political Spectrum, a program designed to help make sense of major developments in our nation's polity and political economy. Political Spectrum comes to you live from Uyo, the state's capital. And I remain yours sincerely, Onwese Ehinoma Olusegun. As usual, our conversations continue on everyday political and economic developments in Nigeria. But first, our President Tinubu's administration's calendar. Today is August the 28th, Monday 2023, and it marks exactly 92 days of President Bola Tinubu in office as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That's now 3 months and exactly 1 day as we gradually get closer to his first 100 days in office. Now we begin to track our reports. President Tinubu declares 2023 NBA conference open. President Bola Tinubu has declared that Nigeria will not sustain failed economic theory that sees to the wastage of 90% of its scarce revenue in the servicing of external debts in the midst of many development challenges facing the country. The president made the statement on Sunday in Abuja while declaring open the annual conference of the Nigerian Bar Association at the Velodrome Chief MKO Abiola Stadium, Abuja. Now, while energizing the gathering of 16,190 lawyers in attendance with an extemporaneous speech, President Tinubu stated that the prosperity of Nigeria's require will only occur once poverty is banished from the society with the focused cooperation of Nigeria's private sector leaders, many of whom were present at the opening ceremony. Speaking on the theme of the conference, getting it right, charting the course for Nigeria's nation building, the president stated that hard decisions must be made to set the economy on a growth trajectory, despite the initial pains which meaningful reforms usually bring. The president also bemoaned the inability of the country to eradicate poverty and tackle poor electricity supply. Despite Nigerians' abundance of gas, President Tinubu renewed his commitment to deal conclusively with the pressing issues of remuneration for judicial officers and legal practitioners, noting that true justice reform must begin with world-class salaries and benefits for legal professionals in Nigeria. Now, in his welcome address, NBA President Yakubu Maikiau, SAN, expressed the confidence of the NBA in the ability of President Bola Tinubu to deliver good governance to Nigeria because of his pedigree and past track records of excellent performance in Lagos State, where he was the governor between 1999 and the year 2007. The conference was attended by the Chief of Staff to the President Femi Gbajabiamila, Minister of Federal Capital Territory Nyesom Wike, Minister of Sports Senator John Eno, former Secretary to the Governor of the Federation Boss Mustapha, past NBA presidents, and many other senior government officials. Let's take a look at some of the video and the highlights.
It is a shame not to have electricity for the majority of homes in Nigeria. Yes, poverty is not a shameful thing, but not acceptable. We must banish it. So you all, rigorously thinking of investing in Nigeria must be a dream. But let's interrogate How did we get here? The hardship. But can we continue to service external debts with over 90% of our revenue? It's a path to destruction. We cannot. For us, this number matters. Over 60,000 legal minds. You are here not to picnic. You are here to chart the path. And my trust and respect is for all of you gathered here. So that together we can build our country and set Nigeria on the path of greatness. I promise you, I will do my very best.
Nigeria is a journey that demands our collective dedication. Building across political affiliations, ethnic differences, and socio-economic differences. Building and transforming our nation is one that is not the responsibility of our government alone. Great nations start with great people, not great leaders.
We have decided to go on with this conversation around the thematic areas of security, economy, and administration of justice, because these are matters that are of great concern to the people of this country. It is our intention that at the end of this meeting, we would have set an agenda on behalf of the people of this country. To go on with this conversation around the thematic areas of security, economy, and administration of justice, because these are matters that are of great concern to the people of this country. It is our intention that at the end of this meeting, we would have set an agenda on behalf of the people of this country. We decided to go on with this conversation around the thematic areas of security, economy, and administration of justice, because these are matters that are of great concern to the people of this country. It is our
All right, a colorful one there at the MKO Abiola Stadium. The NBA conference had kicked off and a lot of activities happening. Moving to the next report, expectations are very high. Atiku, Obi, Tinubu, and the September 16th deadline tribunal to resolve what we've been seeing since at court cases and jigsaw puzzles. We have like 3 weeks. Now, as the entire world awaits the outcomes of the 3 critical petitions instituted by the PDP, the People's Democratic Party, the Labour Party, and the Allied People's Movement, APM, together with their presidential candidates Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, Mr. Peter Obi, and the Delta-born Princess Chichi Ojei, respectively, against the declaration by the Independent National Electoral Commission of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the winner of the February 25th, 2023 presidential election in the country. This report reviews the separate cases of the petitioners before the Justice Haruna Simon Samani-led Presidential Election Petition Tribunal in Abuja, and the separate defenses by Tinubu, his political party, APC, INEC, to each of the petitions. Now, we recall clearly that within 21 days of INEC announcing the results, that was in February, 5 political parties with their presidential candidates approached the registry of the Presidential Election Petition Court to challenge the election outcome. Now, under the electoral law, political parties and their candidates have within 21 days of INEC announcing the result to file their petitions at the registry of the appeal court. The aggrieved parties who met the deadline included the PDP with its presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, the Labour Party with its own presidential candidate Mr. Peter Obi, then the rest were the Action Alliance AA with its president candidate Solomon Okangwa, the Allied People's Movement APM with its presidential candidate Chichi Ojei, the Action Alliance with its presidential candidate Major Hamza Al-Mustafa. A lot of things we've heard. We've tried to report it as best and as professional as we can. The tribunal, which is the court of first instance in the high-profile case, has up to 16th of September 2023 to deliver what is supposed to be its final judgment. But whichever way the judgment goes, all the parties to the petitions have the right of appeal to the Supreme Court. Now, Tinubu's Mr. Musawa confirms she is currently serving, on our next report, Tinubu's Minister Musawa confirms she is currently serving Nigeria as core member and counters NYSC over its legality. Now, this story is quite interesting, and it raises a lot of contentions, and there's been arguments back and forth. Now, the Minister of Art, Culture and Creative Economy, Hannatu Musawa, has confirmed that she is currently undergoing the one-year mandatory National Youth Service Corps scheme. Now, in a statement issued on Sunday, Musawa, however, countered the NYSC, saying she did not break any law in Nigeria by taking up an appointment while still serving her fatherland. As according to her, there are no legal and constitutional limitations whatsoever in that regard. Meanwhile, last week, Thursday, a civic group, civil society group, the Human Rights Association of Nigeria, HURIWA, said it had confirmed that Musawa was still a 7-core member. On Saturday, the NYSC director, also Director of Press and Public Relations, Eddie Megwa, also confirmed that Musawa is serving, saying that the newly appointed minister had been serving for 8 months now. Now, the NYSC spokesperson, however, said that occupying the ministerial position while serving was in breach of the NYSC Act, according to the public relations officer of the NYSC. Now, adding that the scheme would take the necessary action on the matter, but in Musawa's statement on Sunday, now responding, the minister confirmed that she is still serving and that she started in mandatory national service as a core member deployed to Akwa Ibom State in 2001. Now, upon the completion of her university education, but could not complete the service the same year after her redeployment to Kaduna State due to family obligations and exigencies. Now, she said, and I quote, "It is true that I am currently on the NYSC National Service, which I began 8 months ago as a matter of duty and devotion to my country." I'm quoting her now. And I continue, "Haven't been unable to complete the scheme since I was first mobilized in 2001. I started the mandatory national service as a core member deployed to Akwa Ibom State," and she asked people to confirm, "in 2001, upon the completion of my university education," she says, and I quote, I continue on the quote, "I could not complete the service the same year after my redeployment to Kaduna State due to family obligations and exigencies. Despite this, it has been my personal resolve and commitment that I will always fulfill this national duty whenever I am opportune to do so." She continues on her statement, and I quote again, "I applied to NYSC to be mobilized again for national service year. NYSC graciously mobilized and deployed me to serve, but now in Abuja, where I have been serving in the last 8 months before my current appointment as a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I will take the state clearly. I will like to state clearly that contrary to the wrong insinuations and false assumptions in a section of the mainstream media and social media where false accusations have been made, there is no breach of any law or constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended regarding my current position as a minister and status as serving core member." it must be said that there is no law of Nigeria or any part of our constitution and NYSC Act that state that a serving corps member cannot be appointed by the President of Nigeria or any other appointing authority into political positions. Now, equally, no part of our existing law and NYSC Act says that a corps member must finish service before he or she can be appointed into political or public office. There are no legal and constitutional limitations whatsoever. I have not broken any law in Nigeria, she insisted. Now, she finally states, and I quote, in fact, in a decided case before a federal high court Abuja in 2021, Justice Taiwo ruled that the Constitution of Nigeria, which is the ground norm, does not require anyone to even present a first degree certificate or any other certificate, including the NYSC certificate, to be appointed to as a minister in Nigeria. I decided to participate in the current NYSC program in fulfillment of my own personal commitment and out of sense of duty, which I am proud of. I use this medium, therefore, to publicly restate my loyalty and rededicate myself to the service of Nigeria. I will continue to serve faithfully and with all my energy to deliver on the renewed hope agenda of President Tinubu for a better, greater, and more prosperous Nigeria, she concludes. All right, you guys be the judge. We move to the next report real quick. Atiku asks Tinubu to come clean on academic qualification saga. Of course, no one is new to that. The stuff has been back and forth. Now, stating that President has 2 Chicago University certificates signed by different persons, says lawyer. Presidential candidate of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, has taken another swipe at President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, questioning his primary and secondary school education claims. Now, Atiku made this known via his X account, formerly known as Twitter, yesterday. And I want to quote him now. I woke up this morning wondering how we got to this cul-de-sac. In 1999, Tinubu, Lagos, before proceeding to children's homeschool in Ibadan. According to him, his next port of call in his educational journey was Government College Ibadan, then Richard Daley College, and then Chicago University in the United States. Curiously, in 2023, yet again, Tinubu settled with attending only Chicago State University in the United States. He tweeted. Now, Atiku added, and I quote again, "I am scratching my head. How is that even possible? I feel that all well-meaning Nigerians should be as confused as I am with Tinubu's declaration that he had no primary and secondary education, yet he has a university degree. You may wish to ask Tinubu how he attained this feat so that we can learn from his ingenuity." Now, recall that Atiku had recently filed a separate case number 235099 ND3 in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Illinois against Tinubu in the United States. This is different from the suit requesting the academic records of Tinubu, which read that he holds a Bachelor's of Science degree in Business Administration from the Chicago State University. Meanwhile, Angela Liu, counsel to Atiku in the U.S., said Chicago State University has provided 2 similar certificates indicating Tinubu attended its institution. Now, Liu said while the first certificate was signed by 3 people, the other was signed by 2 individuals. Now, Liu was speaking at the weekend in response to a submission by Tinubu's lawyers. According to filings by Oluwole Afolabi and Christopher Carmichael, counsel to Tinubu, an unidentified clerk of the university made the error about the date the school stated on its recently issued certificate, thereby creating the appearance of differences. Now, Liu said while one document asserts that Tinubu was issued the certificate on June 22nd, 1979, I beg your pardon, another one suggested that the president received the same degree on June 27th, 1979, the same year. Now, the question is, will this case go away in the near future? We keep the tables and will continue to monitor this report. Let's quickly take this before we go on a short break. Amidst protest, APC finally swears in their new National Working Committee members, and they promise rewards for the others. Now, we all know that Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje has started his responsibilities as the chairman of the National Party. Now, he's led National Working Committee of the ruling party APC on Friday night, inaugurated 6 additional members into its fold amidst protests from, observe the states, Kogi State, Abia State, and Cross River States, respectively. Those chapters of the party complained. Now, there was a failed attempt to swear in the official on Thursday night, but the protest from Governor Yahaya Bello of Kogi State and other stakeholders from Abia and Cross River effectively stalled the process. Now, those sworn in were the Deputy National Chairman North Ali Bukar Danlori, Borno State, National Vice Chairman Northwest Garba Dati Muhammad, then Kaduna State, National Legal Advisor Professor Abdul Karim Abubakar Kanna Nasarawa, National Welfare Secretary Mary Alile Idile PhD, Edo State, and the Deputy National Publicity Secretary Duro Meseko, Kogi State. An earlier nominee for the North Central Zone Organizing Secretary of the party, Ikani Shaibu Okolo from Kogi State, was however dropped to placate the state governor, Yahaya Bello, whose nominee for the office of Deputy National Publicity Secretary, Ismail Yahaya, was dropped. Ganduje, who acknowledged that the party has taken serious notice of what Yahaya said, would be put forward for other appointments. Now, he said those who lost out in Abia, Cross River States would also be considered for appointment as a way of satisfying all the parties that are aggrieved. Addressing the event, which began at 8:40, that's 20 minutes to 9 in the evening, Ganduje said the party is currently putting its house in order because it is determined to win the forthcoming off-season governorship elections in Kogi, Imo, and Bayelsa states, respectively. According to him, the party would be in the various states' capitals to inaugurate its national campaign councils for the 3 governorship elections as a way of connecting with the grassroots. He states, and I quote, "We have taken a decision that every Wednesday we will conduct our weekly National Working Committee meeting. It is very important our party is an institution, will be active throughout the year and not just during election periods alone. Our party will have operational and functional offices right from the wards, local government, states, zonal, and national offices, as you all can see. We believe we'll be able to abide by all this," he stated, and he promised his party faithfuls. "Very soon we'll launch the National Campaign Council for our 3 states, Imo, Bayelsa, and Kogi. Going into elections this year, instead of inaugurating the councils here in Abuja, we have decided to do so in the various state capitals so that we can connect with the various stakeholders." Now, from Kogi State, we have Ismail Yahaya. We have taken note of him, and he will be engaged in one way or the other. That is Ganduje still promising. We will also have Ikani Shaib Okolo from Kogi State. He too will be engaged appropriately in our government. Then he went further to mention a third person. Mrs. Obinna from Abia will also be accommodated. He went further. Honorable Dr. Stella Ekpo from Cross River, a medical doctor, and 2 others from Cross River States, according to the outcome of the dialogue, will also be accommodated in our government. He continues, and I quote, "With this, I think we have achieved complete agreement and dialogue. We have achieved dialogue and we have deepened dialogue within our party, and this is our culture." Ganduje is still speaking. "We are not dictators, but that does not mean that everyone must necessarily agree with you," he added. The oaths of allegiance and office were administered on the new officials by Barrister Mustafa Abubakar, a lawyer. So at this point, I believe that the APC is still being able to manage whatever the few challenges and discrepancies they may have. The ones that were dropped have been promised positions in future, and I hope that Ganduje lives lives to his promise. All right, we'll go on a short break. Thereafter, I'll be joined by my guest, my Monday morning guest, all important morning guest. Then we'll continue on a few other reports that we're tracking. Don't go anywhere. Join us again.
Not to have electricity for the majority of homes in Nigeria. Yes, poverty is not a shameful thing, but not acceptable. We must banish it. So you all, rigorously thinking of investing in Nigeria must be a dream. But let's interrogate, how did we get here? The hardship. But can we continue to service external debts with over 90% of our revenue? It's a path to destruction. We cannot continue that. We have to make, for us, this number matters. Over 60,000 legal minds. You are here not to picnic. You are here to chart the path. And my trust and respect is for all of you gathered here. So that together we can build our country and set Nigeria on the path of greatness. I promise you, I will do my very best to achieve this. Thank you very much.
Charge to all legal practitioners in Nigeria, be it of the bench or at the bar, is that in the discharge of our professional endeavors, we should be continually guided by the need to place the interests of the...
Transforming Nigeria is a journey that demands our collective dedication. Building across political affiliations, ethnic differences, and socioeconomic differences. Building and transforming our nation is one that is not the responsibility of our government alone. Great nations start with great people. Transforming Nigeria is a journey that demands our collective dedication. Building across political affiliations, ethnic differences, and socioeconomic differences. Building and transforming our nation is one that is not the responsibility of our government alone. Great nations start with great people, not great leaders.
We have decided to go on with this conversation around the thematic areas of security, economy, economy and administration of justice, because these are matters that are of grave concern to the people of this country. It is our intention that at the end of this meeting, we would have set an agenda on behalf of the people of this country. We have decided to go on with this conversation around the thematic areas of security, economy, and administration of justice, because these are matters that are of grave concern to the people of this country. It is our intention that at the end of this meeting, we would have set an agenda on behalf of the people of this country. We have decided to go on with this conversation around the thematic areas of security, economy, and administration of justice, because these are matters that are of grave concern to the people of this country.
All right, many thanks for staying tuned. If you're just tuned in, it's Political Spectrum on Spectrum Television. And a lot of issues that have happened over the weekends has been raised. I'm being joined now by my guest, most times joins me on Monday, Citizen MKO. Citizen MKO is the Executive Director of Open Forum. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Nice to see you.
Good to be here once again.
Yeah, so it's good. I hope it's going to be a very good week. Although it's starting to be slow for me, but it's okay. That's not the reason why we're here.
We need to be able to have the capacity to restart ourselves.
Very true.
Every Nigerian must have the capacity to be a self-starter. Otherwise, we'll all be deflated.
Very true. Very true. All right, the very first one we took, you could see the bar conference, the annual bar conference. It's a ritual for the lawyers. In this one, I think we had close to about 16,000 lawyers attend. And yet again, the platform was used by President to promise that though things may look rough in the beginning, but in the end of his administration, he's promising yet again that maybe things will get better. So what it is now is that at every opportunity that he has to speak to Nigerians, he's speaking to Nigerians. I think that's a positive.
You must be able to separate promises from policies. We were during the what do you call it now, the campaigns. NBA arranged, it wasn't a town hall meeting or one of the meetings that they themselves put together, and it was quite controversial. Mr. President did not attend
During the campaigns?
During the campaigns. It was very topical. And his vice presidential candidate, Shetima, went there. And what became the talking point was his dress sense.
I recall very well.
Yeah, with the very long tie and the sports.
So if he didn't attend, does it now mean that he probably may have learned his lesson? Because at every opportunity now,
no, there was something quite wrong.
He uses it to address Nigerians and say, okay,
wrong
I know things are wrong.
During the campaign, because it was like, for whatever reason, he avoided being engaged. He avoided sharing podium with other aspirants or candidates. Yeah. And it became even a policy. They said, yes, Mr. President may not attend. It's not compulsory. And it was questionable.
But it's not compulsory, is it?
It is. It should be mandatory.
Okay, so what's the difference between compulsory and mandatory?
Both. I'm just a choice of words. So it's unfortunate that that happened during the campaigns, but now he is there himself and he's even speaking extempore, not from a written speech, which is what I really like. If you have something to offer, speak from your heart, not a script that somebody has prepared that will not even address the problem. And what has he said? I think the focus is getting it right, charting the course for Nigeria's nation building.
Yeah, that's the theme of the conference.
That's the theme of the conference.
Yes.
Very apt. But then you look at the NBA itself. After the elections, the international observers, ECOWAS, EU, and others gave their
submitted their reports. Yeah.
And their reports wasn't flowery. It wasn't they did not commend the system.
Yeah.
But NBA gave a contrary
reports.
Yeah. Giving clean bill of health.
That overall the elections were still good enough and credible.
Not just credible. I think they gave it percentage between 80 and above.
Yeah.
And when you also look at the fact that INEC itself admitted that there were flaws. Even in the court, in the tribunal, the documents that they brought to tender, when the document is certified for the candidate, for the parties, when they now tender it officially, they will tell the court, please don't accept. They say, but you gave the document. They say, please, but don't accept, and all of that. At the point when they ask them, at the point you announce the result, did you have the entire result? And I think one of them said what they had was about 30-something% mathematically correct. So NBA itself has some explanations to do if they are engaged on the positions they take, because if we are talking about getting it right, it begins with the integrity that you have. It begins with being able to identify the problem, because if you don't know the problem, you can never profess solutions. So for me, I'm comfortable that Asiwaju, Mr. President, went for that conference. He should steer conversation, and it's also very good in the sense that the theme is something that every citizen who knows that we are in trouble currently in this country should be interested to contribute ideas.
Exactly.
So for me, it's a good way to start. In fact, it's a conversation starter. No matter the flamboyance of how many thousands of lawyers are there. In fact, some of them, I've heard that some of them are even protesting. They said they are not going. Why must we invite Mr. President, because the case is still in court and all of that? I've heard that. It's in public domain.
And but to be fair to the president, though the case is in court, which could be some kind of lacuna or error in our acts, he is the figurehead of the presidency, the institution of the presidency. He is currently the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
He is. It's drawing salaries.
So until the case or until the verdict says otherwise. And we expect, by the reports, by 16th of September, constitutionally, we should hear statements from the Presidential Election Petition Court.
They are doing their part. Since they're doing their part, but for me, like I said, I'm happy at what the NBA has done, but all I heard, I've not gotten the full details, were just praises that they gave to Mr. President. They must be able to bring possible solution. What is an idea or two on the way forward? You don't just do ceremony to praise the special guest of honor.
I agree with you.
Don't do. We have passed that level. And if you are the NBA president and you've had that record over an election that was globally recognized as a very big dent on who we are, and you have invited the president, which you have endorsed his, you've given a glimpse of health legitimacy. Are you not aware that there's enormous problem that Mr. President needs solution? You need to drop those solutions and not to tell Mr.